The impact of generativity on life satisfaction. Generativity is a concern we have for guiding and supporting the next generation. It's about giving back not just through parenting, but also through mentoring, teaching, volunteering, or helping someone else succeed. It involves making intentional choices that impact others in meaningful ways, whether it's raising children, contributing to your community, or simply offering wisdom and support to someone younger or less experienced. In essence, it's the opposite of self focus. Instead of just asking, "What do I want from life?" generativity asks, "What can I give? What kind of mark will I leave behind?" This doesn't mean it only happens in grand or visible ways. Generativity can show up in small daily actions like listening patiently, teaching a skill, or encouraging someone who feels lost. At its core, it's about legacy, not just what we leave behind, but what we build when we're here. The concept of generativity was first explored by Erik Erikson in his theory of psychosocial development. He identified it as a central task of midlife, describing a conflict between generativity and stagnation. In his view, adults who don't find ways to contribute to the well being of others may become stagnant, disconnected, or even bitter. I find this idea powerful because it frames midlife not as a crisis, but as a chance to create impact. Dan McAdams built on this by looking at how we tell the story of our lives. He believed generativity isn't just what we do, but how we interpret our role in the world. For example, someone who mentors others might see themselves as a guide in their life story, and that self-perception reinforces generative behavior. I personally relate most to Erickson's framework. I see this phase of life as a crossroads, one where we can either turn inward or intently turn outward and invest in others. That sense of purpose motivates me every day, whether I'm helping a child, supporting a friend, or doing something bigger in my community. Culture plays a huge role in shaping how, when, and why we express generativity. For example, in some cultures, caregiving and family roles are more strongly associated with women, while in others, mentoring and public service are emphasized regardless of gender. My own cultural and religious background, being a Christian, has shaped my view of service. Scripture encourages us to love our neighbor, care for the poor, and raise children in truth and wisdom. That becomes a powerful framework for generativity. Education also plays a part. Those with access to education also have more tools, confidence, and opportunities to contribute meaningfully. Religious beliefs, too, often emphasize legacy and selfless service. Even things like socioeconomic status or how we were raised can influence how we see our responsibility. For me, generativity has become something sacred. It's not just about passing time or fulfilling a role. It's about honoring the values I hold and the faith I live by passing those forward in everything that I do. I completed the Loyola Generativity Scale, which is a 20-item self-assessment tool that asks you to reflect on how often you engage in generative behaviors. My score is 33 out of 60, which indicates a moderate level of generativity. This makes sense for where I am in life. I'm not just at the start of this journey, but I know I have room to grow. What influences that score for me are things like parenting, helping others, and being involved in my church and community. There are areas I can work on, like thinking more about long-term legacy or making an intentional impact beyond my immediate circle. But I've already seen the fruits of small efforts like helping a child build confidence, encouraging a friend in need, or even sharing lessons learned from difficult experiences. That awareness has challenged me to be more deliberate about how I spend my time and who I invest in. The score isn't a label, it's a mirror, and what I see reflects both how far I've come and where I want to go next. Our personality plays a big role in how we live generativity. For me, traits like empathy, conscientiousness, and reflection help me connect with others and follow through on commitments. I care deeply about how my actions affect people. I try to think beyond the movement and focus on what will benefit someone else long term. I'm also naturally reflective. I spend a lot of time thinking about what's meaningful, what's lasting, and how to make a real difference. That kind of mindset supports generativity. On the flip side, I'm not always the most outwardly expressive person. Sometimes I stay in the background or hesitate to take up space. That can limit how often others see my contributions, but it doesn't mean they're not happening. I've learned that you don't have to be loud to be impactful. Sometimes the most generative people are those who simply show up consistently, love deeply, and give quietly. That's the kind of person I try to be, one who lives with intention and makes space for others to grow. Right now, I engage in generative behavior in several ways. First and foremost, parenting is a huge part of my life. Raising children, guiding them with love and discipline, and helping shape their values. That's generativity in action. I also try to mentor others when I can, whether it's a younger woman who needs encouragement or someone who's going through a season I've already lived. I want to offer support that's real and grounded in experience. In my church, I try to be available, whether that's helping with a ministry, listening to someone who's struggling, or just being a steady presence. Generativity doesn't have to be a big dramatic act. It shows up in how we carry ourselves every day, in the way we serve, speak truth, and extend grace. These roles may not always be noticed by the world, but they matter deeply. They shape the next generation, strengthen our communities, and build the kind of legacy that can't be measured in awards or titles. Looking ahead, I want my career to align with my generative values. I want to do work that matters, not just to me but to others. I hope to mentor people professionally, maybe through teaching, coaching, or simply leading by example in whatever field I'm in. I want to contribute to something bigger than myself, whether that's helping a team grow, supporting undeserved populations, or being a voice of encouragement in tough environments. I also hope to leave something lasting. That might be a program I helped build, a set of values I modeled, or just a quiet legacy of people I helped along the way. I don't want to go through life just collecting paychecks or accolades. I want to know that I gave my time, my energy, and skills to something that mattered that in someone's life is better because I was there. To me, that is the essence of generativity, and I believe we can carry that into every space we step into if we choose to lead with purpose. Generativity isn't a one time decision, it's something we have to keep choosing and nurturing throughout our lives. As we age, our roles may change, but our ability to impact others doesn't go away. We just have to adapt. For me, that may look like continuing to mentor as I get older or becoming more involved in service roles that fit my season of life. I want to stay rooted in my faith, continue learning, and stay connected to people across generations. I also want to be intentional about self care. Burnout can rob us of the energy we need to be generative, so staying healthy spiritually, emotionally, and physically is part of the process. I believe generativity grows when we stay curious, compassionate, and committed to others. Whether that means planting new seeds of influence or simply watering the ones we've already sown, it's all about part of leaving a meaningful mark on the world, and that's something I never want to stop doing.